In the Spring Trench extension, Jodie starts to uncover what looks like another Roman pin.
I thought it was a pin first of all, but it looks like it's coming out to be a spoon. Do you want some?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks. I think perhaps we should call someone over. Yeah.
Lorenza? Yeah? You got something?
Yeah. We think it might be a spoon. Do you want to?
God.
Yes. Seems to be more. Perhaps it's a fork or something.
It's solid, yes. You got straight. It's a sword.
No.
It's a. Look. Look, it's coming straight back. That's the handle of it. Well, no, might not.
Wow.
God, but
Oh.
wait a minute. What is it?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Look, it's carrying on.
Oh my God.
Come and have a look. That,
Good Lord, what is it?
it's a sword.
You're kidding me. We've never had a sword in Time Team before.
It looks as if this is the scabbard. That's part of the scabbard decoration. And that might be actually part of the sword blade there.
Crichton? Oh, there you are. Come and have a look. Has this piece of land been disturbed since you were here?
Not to my knowledge, no.
No one's found anything like this before?
No.
This sword, I think, is sort of end of the Iron Age. It's a Latin type.
What does that mean?
It's named after a site in Switzerland, which was on a lake, and where dozens of swords were thrown into shallow water amongst posts.
So you would throw this in as part of a ritual?
Oh yes, absolutely. And at Latin, they were very often thrown in with their scabbards still on.
How many are known from England, well, from Britain like this?
Like that. Oh Lord, gosh, 100 or two?
How many have you seen in Wales?
3 or 4 at the most. And the thing about that is it's so fancy that it may well have been made specially for offering. It may never have been used. It could have been made specially for the gods. And that makes it really exciting.
The removal of the fragile sword from the mud is a slow and laborious business, hampered by a length of barbed wire that seems to be very close to the blade.
I'm a bit worried about this barbed wire. It seems to be heading in the direction of the sword.
Oh,
no.
Oh dear.
I think.
Go on. Look, it can't go over the top now. It's got to go. It does.
Oh no.
Careful.
This is a devastating discovery. Mick and Jenny were right to be worried about the context of the sword. How could an Iron Age sword be resting on barbed wire? There's only one solution, that the sword has come from another site and been put in the ground at the same time or after the barbed wire.
You wanted context and you've got it.
You can't do better. You can't do better than that.
that is absolutely bloody criminal to put an item like that in the ground. That is terrible.
That's the stone away.
Yeah. And that barbed wire is definitely going under the sword and into that post.
That's it. Yeah.
And the sword is resting on both the barbed wire and the post.
Yeah.
Can we take a sample of that barbed wire?
I think we can probably spare a very small part of this important metal find.
What I'd like to do is compare it with this is modern barbed wire. It's galvanised, got a twist pattern, the barbs.
It
These
looks
are
very similar.
Yeah, they're diagnostic in terms of dating. So if I can take a sample and compare
You're
it.
an expert on barbed wire.
Oh, but I know a man who is.
We can't.
Why don't we just lift
but
that?
we can't slide anything underneath with that stone in the way.
We can't slide anything underneath with the post there.
In the way.
I think you're going to have to support it there as well.
Yeah, it's resting on the stone there. It's just moving around.
Despite knowing that the sword hasn't been in the ground very long, it's still a valuable piece of archaeology and has to be treated as such. So the priority is to carefully lift it and get it to a conservator who can stabilise it and prevent it from deteriorating further.
Very slowly. Gently, okay.
It's
I'm up this end.
Yep. Spot on. Game, set, match. And you see that, Tony? Look, there is the piece of wood with our wire attached to it, and that's where the sword was, slap bang on the top of it.
That sword was lying on that post, and that wire is attached to it. I don't think you're going to drag the post underneath the sword without breaking it. It's very delicate, and you can see how thin the handle bit is.
Yesterday evening we phoned Ian Stead, Britain's leading authority on swords and scabbards, and today, a Sunday, he's travelled 400 miles by rail to tell us about this La Tene sword, if it is a La Tene sword.
Well, it is a La Tene sword, yes, I can say that at any rate, and I've seen that bit sticking out, so...
How can you be so sure?
The shape of the hilt end there, that part there actually belongs to the handle. It's the end of the handle.
Yeah.
This blade as well, the profile of the blade, which is very distinctive, but also very rare.
Are you happy that it's not a very craftily wrought replica?
No, it's not a replica, no.
Can you give us some kind of date for it?
Somewhere between 150, 250 BC, something like that. It wasn't made in Britain.
Really?
Why do you say that?
At this time we were using bronze rather than iron scabbards. I mean, this could have come from La Tene itself.
Really?
It's
Switzerland, isn't it?
It's a Swiss one.
So are you saying that it would have been manufactured at La Tene and brought here by someone in the Iron Age, or could it be one of the finds from La Tene which has got over here much later?
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I would think it's not been manufactured in Britain, at any rate. When it came over, is anybody's guess. That is unusual, yes. I mean, yes, that...
Is it the sort of thing, Ian, that you would expect to find here, you know, sort of south central Wales?
No.
Right.
No.
Now we can see what our La Tene sword will look like when it's fully restored. Worn by an ancient warrior, hanging on his belt attached by what is known as a baldric, and over 2,000 years ago cast into a Swiss lake as part of a long-forgotten ritual. But how did it get from Switzerland to South Wales? And more importantly, when?